Okay, well, I guess I'm going to get started. Welcome, everyone. I am Judy Adams, co-owner of Foelber Pottery with my husband, John Foelber, back there. So this is Rachel Hess, the artist of this room here. The title of this show is Cat-O-Tonic. It is all cat themed. I have known Rachel, and John and I have known Rachel since before she was born, actually. Her mother, Jill Hess, and I were art teachers at Duchenne Academy. And so we have known Rachel since she was very young, and she was always very creative. Uh, According to her and her mom, she has been doing art since she was very, very young. She started doing our children's pottery classes when she was about 8 years old. And so that's when she first, well, no, I think she did clay before that, but that was your professional clay. And then she actually has a degree from U of H, got that in 2022, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And as Rachel tells me, she did not get a fine arts degree, because with that you had to pick a single artistic discipline. And so she has a bachelor in fine arts. Do I have that correct?
Bachelor in arts as opposed to fine arts.
Yeah.
Because I refuse to pick one.
Yeah, yeah. So she is very multi-talented. She always has been. And so a few of the things I want to show you is that recently she gifted John and me a 3D printed potter's wheel. Yes. So that is something and it's got so much detail, including all the little switches and everything. She also worked with us recently. We wanted to make t-shirts. We'd never done anything like that. And so Rachel hand silk screen a design for us. And so she also silk screened so that she did this. And her outfit, she did that. What kind of?
It was a lino cut stamp that I just did again and again and again and again until I was done. And because I have to dry in between panels, it took like 9 days, I think.
That's a true artist. And then she also, at one point, gave John and me this drawing, and this is our cat, Mr. Wags. He's the studio cat. So he hangs around here, and it's just a wonderful drawing. So we've known Rachel a long time. She does a lot of different disciplines. Sometime in the past year, can you shut that door? Thanks. Sometime in the past year, Rachel, in our pottery classes with John, John was just trying to say, Rachel, let me help you. She does not work on the potter's wheel. She does sculpting and hand building, things like that. So he started just making these little vessels for her. And then I'm going to let you go from there.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. I usually do, when left to my own devices, I do things that aren't conventionally attractive, like lots of eyes, melted faces, giant noses, etc., body parts in shapes and sizes and numbers.
The schnoz.
Yes, the schnoz. His Christian name is Schnoz Hess, but his title is the schnoz. And I have a good time doing it, and John likes them, but they're not like a favorite. You know, they're not widely enjoyed. I think my friend said it best. She's like, I love it. I don't want it in my bedroom. So I wanted to find something that had more of something I like to do, something he liked, like middle of the Venn diagram. And our biggest shared interest is Mr. Wags. I adore cats. I have 5 of them myself. I love Wags. He's like 14 now, so I've known him a long time. And I was like, what do you think of cats? And John was like, I like cats. And I was like, I agree. So I made cats, and that went over much better than the kind of melted face. Um, and I just kept making cats, because the fun thing about cats is you can reduce them to like the most basic shape. I'm talking like circle to triangles. People are like, that's cat. So you can do every single style and people still recognize a cat. So I never ran out of things to do that looked like cats. And by the time I realized that everything was cat related, I just really wanted to like commit to the bit. Like there was so many of them. I was like, they all have to be cats now, because that would just be really funny. So I just had to keep doing it. So I started in February, and by March I was like, this is a lot of cats. And I was like, it's not enough cats. So I just had to keep going until I had, one might say, too many cats, and I would disagree. But just a lot of cats.
Very good. So it was fun during this whole process of, because it was a lot of cats, and it was like, well, how can we make this look unique and different? And so from a technical standpoint, working with different clay bodies, darker clay bodies like this one, and then for Rachel to work with white slips and then carve sgraffito into them, versus, I know, beautiful, huh? And then other different colored clays. So working with a variety of materials, and then also with techniques. The idea of carving into the piece, like these beautiful boxes where you're just carving into them. That also works with this piece here that's carved into. And then I was trying to see something else. This is wonderful. Is to just take this, push in the clay, and then add your little cat. Then the raku, which is a primitive firing technique. It was really fun to see how you took that and went to that in so many different ways. This piece here is raku, and it's a metallic glaze. So not only is the form fabulous and the idea, but then to make that decision to do it in this firing technique and to get that metallic gate, I just think that's up here is a fabulous piece. You want to talk about that one?
Oh, these are my puzzle cats. So what the thing was is I really like the kind of fluid, mashable nature of cats. They kind of curl into each other. I think it's really sweet. I love seeing my cats do it. And I like puzzles. I like things that fit together. So the thing about this is clay doesn't really like to lay flat, doesn't like to behave. So it was kind of difficult getting it the right thickness and all of that. But I ended up really enjoying doing it. It was kind of difficult to raku fire because you have to kind of stack them. But I loved making these little curvy cats, and my cats loved them too because I had to work on the floor, and they would see cat, 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 and they'd be like, okay, a 3D cat needs to go here, and then they would sleep with their paws like dangerously close to my drying art. So that I really enjoyed that. And then I had to mount them, right, on a piece of wood, which was kind of nerve-wracking, but I think it looks really beautiful hung up, and I really enjoyed doing it. Would I do it again? Maybe. Later. Very much later.
That is the whole thing with all of this. It's like, would you do another one of those? It's like, So speaking of, then she got into this idea of John made this piece, and she took it home, And she said, I have an idea. I think you maybe even showed us a drawing of like cat hieroglyphics, and brought this back. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. So John was like, I need to give you a bigger form. You need to do that on a bigger piece. This is a piece that John made, and it's been sitting in our studio. I won't tell you and I think you saw it up high. You said, how about that one? I've been seeing this sitting here for a long time. Well, on the bottom, John Foelber created this form in 1983. And then Rachel, finally, we found the perfect person to finish it just this year, 2024. So they both signed it. The backstory on this is that this is a different type of clay. It's low fire, which we don't work with that much anymore. So in order to do a kiln firing, there'd have to be more low fire pieces. So John just wanted to sit until he found just the right way to finish it. And I think he did. But then some people were asking if you were going to do more. And what was your answer?
No.
Unfortunately, at this point in the recording, we lost audio. So I'm sorry to say, but you're going to miss out on the wonderful Q&A we had. Very good questions and delightful answers by Rachel. One in particular that we recall is someone asked her why she does not like to use the pottery wheel to create her pieces, and her charming answer was that it's just not her jam. She doesn't like the mechanical part of it, the tactile sense, the muscles that are needed, and she just loves her drawing, her surface development, and of course the sculpture. And she thinks it was just a perfect collaboration that John Foelber really is so talented on the pottery wheel, and she is talented in her aspect, and together it was a wonderful collaboration. And then the joke was that wouldn't it be fun sometime if they collaborated where she made a piece on the pottery wheel and John had to embellish it. So maybe that will happen at some point. Thank you all for taking time to listen to this video, and we hope you go to the website and see the pieces that Rachel has available. And also, if you're in Houston, come by the gallery. Thank you so much.